Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the Respawn Network server. I want to say thank you very much for all your feedback on the previous video we did on level design. This is going to be another level design video. Today we're not doing point runner maps, we're actually going to be doing a gold rush map. So here on the server I want to do a little bit of building and come up with a new map design. But first of all, one of the things we're going to have to do is explain a little bit more about the game and how the previous levels are laid out. So what I'm going to do is actually go into single player. I have a copy of each of the levels that you can play here on the server. We're going to go through them one by one and I'm going to explain the layout and how it kind of affects the game and all of that good stuff. So we're going to jump into a single player world and I'll see you there. So here we are in the original Gold Rush map. This is the one that's now known as Alpha. And for those of you that don't know what Gold Rush is, well, it's basically a game where you have a single objective, that is to get gold from the pigman in the middle and put it in the dropper on your team's side. But you also have XP as well, which influences the game, and XP can be used to brought upgrades. So as a team, you know, you could all focus on XP, you could get really strong, but in the meantime the other team is getting all of the gold from the middle. Or you could just focus on gold and, you know, maybe the other team goes for both XP and gold and then they're stronger than you. And so it's a game of balance and kind of anticipating what the other team are doing and reacting to it. So the way that we lay out an arena really does change the kind of game that you're in and the way you have to approach it. So this is the original arena right here. When I first built this game, I didn't really picture it actually having other arenas and maps that would bring new challenges to it. So my thoughts here were to just keep it really simple. You start up in this area here with the shop. If you go down the steps, you can use the diamond teleporter. Then you can go straight on into the main arena, or you can go over to the right and you can go and get the XP. So the diamond teleporter will actually teleport you over here, and although it's not the greatest of distances, what's really good about this is you can choose to go to either side, which I thought was quite powerful and made the diamond teleporters worth getting. So that is this map here in a nutshell really. There's not too much more to say about it than that. I think when you're over on this side you can't go down. Actually maybe you can, yeah, you can pop down like that. That's a little bit cheeky, you shouldn't be able to do that really. That is something I should have noticed and fixed some time ago, but there you go. Anyway, let's go and look at the next map and I'll explain how the different layout changes the game. So this is the second map beta. You may have seen this from when I was doing my map making series where we were making Gold Rush 1.5. This was where I decided to make 3 arenas to go, well actually an additional 2 to go alongside the original one, so 3 in total, and that never saw the light of day until it came online at the Respawn Network server. So one thing to point out here is with the diamond teleporters, they're actually up in the base, which is very powerful because they are a lot closer to where you spawn. So when you come down here, you get forced over to the sides. So notice how the layout is the same as last time. XP spawner on either side, gold in the middle. However, these pathways create a completely different game. So you're forced to go past an XP spawner before you go to the gold. So that means you're going to meet the other team on the other side around this area as well, which makes it really interesting when you're playing actually, because you don't tend to just sit here at an XP spawner. There's always going to be players coming past it to get down to this bit down here. Now this is where the diamond teleporter takes you to, so you can see that's quite powerful. It's pretty much in between the gold and XP spawner, so if you choose to use this, you've basically got a shortcut to either or, and even more of a shortcut to the gold because it takes longer to get there. Now the gold is just this area down here. There's also these little balcony areas if you want to grab some arrows and shoot at the players in the middle. That becomes very useful. And when you want to deposit your gold, you have to go all the way up here, and this doesn't lead anywhere else, you know. If you make your way up here and deposit the gold, then you turn around and the only way back out is to the gold in the middle, and that really does create its own challenge, and it's kind of hard to describe, you know, what actually the challenge is, but you kind of feel it when you're playing. And I think the best way to look at it is whatever layout you're going to give to a level, it's always going to make it feel different, and it's just a case of playing it and seeing if it feels good and if it brings some strategy, as there aren't really too many words to describe how that works. But let's move on to the next map and take a look at that one. So this is the third one. This is called Delta, and it's a very similar layout to the previous map. You have to go to the XP spawners before going to the gold, but the thing here is that in order to take the gold back, you have to go back past the XP spawners and all the way back to the dropper over here. So that's the main change. The layout is also quite different as well. The diamond teleporters are down here, so you have to travel a little bit further to use them. But when you come up to this middle area, you can see it's all exposed. You've got this ring of blocks around the middle. You can shoot your arrows across at people, and it's a very exposed area, such as the XP spawners are very exposed and open as well. Now this is where the diamond teleporter takes you, so it's powerful but not as much as the one on the last map, because it's a shortcut to the gold, but you know, you've got a long way back to take the gold back anyway. And so this area right here is quite difficult to farm the gold, because this area is open at the top, and a lot of people tend to take a few shots at the people in the middle when they come around, because you always start off with 3 arrows. So as soon as you make your way up here, you know, if someone's in the middle, you'll probably take a couple of shots. So you have to play quite defensive in the middle here and work as a team to get the gold, which I like. And this is actually one of my favourite ones to play on. I find this open area in the middle makes it really good. If you get yourself some potion effects, you know, you can kind of just run around here taking people on one by one and just helping your team by getting some kills, which is pretty cool. But anyway, let's move on to the next maps. These are going to be the premium ones that are available to play on the server. So this is the map Omega, and the premium maps on the servers, they have different colours, and as you can see, the layouts are a lot more interesting because we have more XP spawners on this one right here. So when I stopped development of Gold Rush 1.5, that was when I was originally going to be getting Gold Rush on a server. Unfortunately, that took a heck of a lot longer, almost a year longer than it was originally supposed to, and I immediately went and designed some special maps with unique layouts. So this is the first one right here. It's Omega. It's designed for bigger teams, which you can probably understand due to the layout. And so let's see, first of all, the diamond teleporters are back here, and they actually take you right next to the gold spawner. And I really like this little bit right here because it drops you over here. You can hop out and help your team get some gold, or you can go around directly onto the other side. And this actually works really well. You might think it's a little bit overpowered, but I played a lot of games on this map, and if you're working as a team farming on one side, you know, it's not as powerful as you think. Someone tries to ambush you, and it isn't really the end of the world, but it certainly is a nice layout. So from the center, you can just run up the back here to deposit your gold, and to get to the center without the teleporters, you have to come past one of these XP spawners, and both team has an XP spawner on either side, and you can just kind of see from the layout, you know, you can walk around the outside here. That doesn't really get used too much, although it can be useful if you're chasing someone. And of course, you can, when you come to the middle here to get down to the XP spawner, you can also choose to go to the other side's XP spawner, which I think works really well, because you can certainly distract people by going into their areas. You know, they'll see you collecting XP from their spawner and they'll instantly think they need to kill you, whereas it might be better for them to continue what they were doing or get the gold. So I like the way that kind of comes into play. And so that is that one in a nutshell, really. You've got 4 XP spawners, 1 gold, and yeah, let's move on to the next one, which has 2 gold spawners. So this map is Sigma. This is probably one of the craziest looking layouts, and by the way, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you like the aesthetics of this map. Now, I've spoken to quite a few builders, most of which who hate it, but these are the kind of builders that, you know, build pretty natural looking things and don't do weird abstract styles like this. Now what I've gone for here is basically minimalism, you know, just clean white with colour mixed alongside it, and I've picked a select few materials that you will see on the maps over and over again, and for that reason I really like it. And I've actually had some good feedback as well as negative feedback as well, but let me know what you think of the aesthetics here. I certainly like it. Anyway, this map is called Sigma. There's the magenta team, there's the cyan team, and as you can see, there are 2 gold spawners, which is pretty crazy. And this is a very fun and challenging map to play. You can see you have 1 diamond teleporter over here, and also right as you leave, you can turn to the left to get to the dropper. So you have to come all the way back to deposit your gold. That diamond teleporter will actually take you to the other team's gold spawner, so it will take you right over here. And by the way, this is a vanilla bug. When you first activate a pigment spawner, it will create a normal pigment, and then it will create the ones with the tags that have been applied to it, so they spawn, you know, with armor and potion effects and things like that. That is a common bug you will see on the server, and that is something that can't be fixed. It's a Minecraft issue right there. So that explains that. So let's have a look at the layout a little bit more. When you come down the middle here, you can go to an XP spawner. This is obviously your team's like exclusive one, and you can kind of rush down here and rush up to the other team's spawner, but generally this is where players are passing through a lot, so that strategy doesn't really favour you too well. And then when you go down into this area, you've got your own gold spawner. I don't often see teams, you know, going for the other team's gold spawner to get gold, but usually to disrupt them. So someone might charge over and take out some other players. But also you've got this little balcony area over here. And by the way, there are some secret, can you see that? Doors hidden around to stop people parkouring on the edges. And that's actually a problem with a lot of the maps. There are still a few little parkour things here and there that shouldn't be there. So anyway, from over here you can kind of snipe the enemy's gold team. It may look like it's pretty powerful, but if you've got an upgraded bow and you know you can stay here and no one sees you and shoots people, you can do a fair bit of damage. But generally you can shoot them, they can shoot you as well, so it's not as powerful as it first looks. And that is the Sigma map. So nope, sorry, that's the Epsilon. Well, I've forgotten the name of this map. I'll tell you when I go and double check, but we'll move on to the next one. So that previous map was Epsilon, and this one is called Sigma, and this is my favourite one. You have to play this one with smaller teams. I think it's teams of 5, but I like this one because it's very direct and straightforward to play. So let's go and have a look at the layout here. We've got our diamond teleporters, one on either side. They're going to basically take you right into the middle of the action. They're going to teleport you over to the side here. Now it's not really a big difference. You can see there's not much of a path to get down here, but it does kind of bring you into the middle of the action. And so this is where it all goes down. You've got the gold spawner in the very middle, and everyone kind of has to pass through here to get to anything else. So when you come down the side or you use the diamond teleporter, if you want to go and get the gold, then you exit out this way, and if you want to get some XP, then you go up the top here. And you've got this nice little shooting balcony as well. And so it's a very like all focused on one area map. You have to go through it to do anything. You've got your sniping balcony, you've got your XP spawners overlooking the middle, and it makes for a really fun and very compact and closed in kind of game. So I don't think there's too much else to say about it. Yes, that's right, I wanted to mention something. There is a little parkour trick here. You can jump down there and then you can run like this and jump across, and this will eventually be removed from the game. I need to put some barrier blocks there when I get the time, and you can hop all the way over to the other team's XP spawner like that, which is a little bit cheaty, but this is one of my favourite ones to play, that's for sure. I guess we should now hop back onto the creative server and start talking about this map that I want to make. Okay, so I think we got something pretty cool here, and this is a scaled down model, by the way, so you're going to have to try and use your imagination a little bit. What I've done here is just kind of laid out the level design, if you like, you know, the pathways that players have to walk on, and just looking at it like this gives me some idea of how the map is going to come into play. So we are doing the 2 XP spawners and 1 gold spawner. We're arranging it like we had it on Sigma, so we've got one closer to either team's base, but the thing is on this one is that actually the XP spawner that you're going to go to will be on the other side. Now there are quite a few things I'm still undecided on about this one, because this is a strange thing to have to go all the way over to this side, and I want to make that mean something, you know. I don't want to completely protect this area. At the same time, I don't want it to be so that players, you know, are completely exposed as well. So we have to balance things very carefully. Now the first thing I'm going to talk about is the diamond spawner. This team has to go all the way to the one over there, so if they stand on this diamond teleporter it could take them all the way here, which would be a really valid shortcut. Or what we could do is have it take them to the other team's XP spawner, which would really be a game changer, and because of that I might not actually do it, because the way we're going to design this level is that you can't actually get onto the other team's side. So if you look at this pathway here that this team has going up to their XP spawner, we're going to make it so you have to drop down into the area where the gold spawner is, and you won't be able to make your way back up there. Now I've made another map which I haven't even shown anyone yet. It's called Hellfire. Well, some people have played it in the old XPD community. It's a map that's set in the Nether. We're probably going to set this one in the Nether as well, and that has a big square area in the middle where you have to jump in to get the gold, and once you jump in, that's it, you're committed to getting the gold and you can't return, and that actually works out really well. So we're definitely going to introduce that to this map, so it's going to make it quite a different challenge from the maps you've already played. So this thing in the middle is going to be like a big platform. You drop down, then you walk up to the top, you get your gold, and then you go underneath here. So you go underneath the platform back here to deposit your gold. And yeah, that's kind of it at the moment. So a few things that I'm thinking about are these pathways. How open and exposed are they going to be? You know, can you stand here and shoot at the people getting the gold in the middle? Can you shoot all the way across the other side? I just don't know at this moment. And as I start building this up, I'm going to be able to see. So the next step for us to take is to actually start building this thing. I'm going to do it loosely first, you know, where we just kind of get the platform sizes in place and figure a few things out, and then we'll slowly like polish it up and get it looking prettier and prettier and more finalized. So yeah, let's start building this thing, and I'll be back with you in a moment. It has been a long time since I last built a Gold Rush map, and there was something that I learnt when I built them that I forgot. It takes a long time. You have to do a lot of rebuilding. You know, you build something, then you tear it down, you try again, and it takes quite some time to find that point where you know where the map's going. And I found that. And what we're looking at right here is not that. This is my first attempt with the map. And one of the things that I wanted to do, or that I tried to do, is get a little bit of consistency. And the consistency I'm talking about here is the shape. You see this slope underneath? I was going to try and repeat that, you know, throughout the build on all of the platforms, all of the bits you can walk across. You would see floating platforms with these slopes underneath. And as I was doing that, it just didn't look right. It didn't feel right, and I just felt like where we had gone with this so far was a little bit bland. There wasn't a lot of space around this area right here. So this was my first attempt. I gave up when I got to this point, and this is my second attempt. So what we've done is we've ditched the whole floating platforms with the slopes underneath, and I've gone for walls. I want boundaries and walls everywhere, and I think that is going to work. So let's have a look at this platform over here for the XP. It's a lot bigger and bolder. This shouldn't be here. This is going to be where you walk across from the other side, and if we just stand on this platform, you can see that you won't be able to see the XP spawner on the other side, so you'll kind of be shielded from the other team if you're camping around your XP spawner. There's also these little drops here to get down below without taking full damage. I think if you just walk off the edge, you shouldn't, because it's 2.5, but if you run off the edge you might leave a little bit higher, so you might take, you know, half a heart or something. Then you've got this leading back here, and I like the way this drops down. It isn't really necessary, it doesn't really do too much. You could probably jump on the side here, but it doesn't really lead anywhere, so I like how that works. I think that's pretty cool. And then our big platform at the middle. At the moment it is very quartzy. We've got to finalise a lot of things and add in some detail. But what made it work for me is a moment ago this was actually facing the other way, so the slope was at the front, and it just didn't quite feel right until I rotated it to the side, because then we throw in this thing where the teams are going to come round, and when they go down here they're going to pick the left or the right, and you don't know who you're going to meet. If you go to the left you might then meet the other team as you're making your way up the slope, or you might meet them at the top, and then from up here you can be shot by the XP on either side. And I think that's going to create a nice bit of teamwork. You know, people with bows and arrows can camp the XP spawners and fire at the other team as they come up these slopes. So what I'm struggling with a little bit at the moment is just how this is all going to connect over here, how the pathway is going to go across. It's going to be a little bit boring because it's a long path all the way to the XP spawner on the other side. You're going to come out all the way about here before you turn to the side. So in the middle here we're going to have some sort of shooting area, and I think actually this wasn't intentional, but I like the way you can't shoot straight up onto the gold. That might actually be a thing right there. There's like a natural barrier, and I think that will make it fair, because otherwise you'll be able to get shot at when you're in the middle from over here, and you know, a player respawns, they run around the side and already they can shoot in the middle, so that works out well. What I'm also thinking we might do is have some stairs that lead downwards, so it isn't too boring, you know, it isn't all just one big flat road. There's a separate path that goes underneath, and maybe we'll have some little holes like this so people can get their bows and arrows and snipe from down below, which I think will be a very nice addition. And so with those things in mind, I think we're getting pretty close to how this thing is going to be in its final form. And there's really not too much else to comment on. I've also been messing around with this a little bit. This will probably change again. I'm not really sure if I want to keep that. But we are making progress. Also made up my mind about the diamond teleporter. I think it's much better if you just teleport to your own XP spawner, because otherwise that's going to make it very powerful. It's going to change the game a lot, and it kind of makes sense. It's kind of what the diamond teleporters are about. They're a shortcut. They're not something particularly evasive into the other team. So it's a shortcut where you can go from here to here, and then you don't have to walk around the path. And I got that completely wrong, because this is obviously the orange team's spawner. Yes. But there we go. Right, I will continue working on this. I should be back with you when I have the finished product. Construction has come a long way, and we actually have a crowd of people in the area watching me build this now. And I've just realised something. It just kind of occurred to me. We've got the blue team over on that side, and then you come all the way to over here. And I was just looking at the way we could put some of the colours in this area, and then I noticed that this is orange. So we could have it so that the orange team would need to take their their gold down here underneath the blue team's side. Did I say orange? Yeah, the orange team takes their gold underneath the blue team's XP spawn. And remember, only the blue team can get to this bit up here. I think that would be too harsh. I think actually the thing to do is to swap it around. So when you go down here, the wall at the bottom is going to be blue instead of orange. And yeah, there's a lot going on here. I'm starting to work in some of the details. The shape is being finalized. I think the last thing I have to do with the shape is this bit of platform over here. I just need to figure out what I want to do with that, and everyone is getting in my face as always when I'm building. So yeah, there'll be a few more details. Like I think I want to put some lava in the walls here just for looks, and just add a few more details here and there, and then this thing will be finished. So did I mention that this map was going to be in the Nether? I think I did. But here we are. I have just drunk a night vision potion. Let's actually see the difference between the two. You definitely need this one to play. You know, if I put some lighting down around the place, maybe you wouldn't, but I think this thing looks really cool when you have the night vision potion. So it's a bit of a different setting for the regular Gold Rush game, and this thing is all finished now. I think it's going to play really well. However, I haven't done a playtest yet, and I'm a little bit worried because it takes such a long time to put this all together. After I had finished building it, which took me quite a long time, then I had to redo the custom spawners so they spawn the things in the correct positions, and it had been so long since I'd done that it took a fair bit of time. But there are some other couple of details I've added. We've got gold blocks in the corner, so if you get in a sticky situation, maybe this provides you with a little bit of cover. We've also got some lava for detail, and I think that maybe we could have done with some floor patterns or something to add a little bit more variety in places. But that is the shape and the layout done right there. So right now what we got to do is convert this map and get it ready to be played on the server, and then we can playtest it and see how it plays. Well, you certainly do learn a lot about maps by playing them, that is obvious, and I now think maybe I should have spent a little bit more time playing rather than finishing this thing up. There are some definite problems with this map. Overall it's pretty fun to play. It is a little bit slow, so I felt like the way to combat that was maybe to make this spawn in the middle have the pigmen drop more nuggets, and I think we're in peaceful at the moment, which is why they're not spawning. Now when I was playing I found a few interesting things. First of all, this walk around the side, it is actually quite tedious, and then you get over to this other side and you've got a one-way kind of thing to drop down, and it just doesn't feel, you know, like that really meant anything coming all the way around here. It's pretty direct, you know, the game kind of starts from over here and it happens in that middle area. So I feel like actually perhaps we need to make this area around the side more important somehow. Maybe even a way that the other team can get into your area. I was thinking that down here we could actually open some of these up, but I think it requires more playtesting. Now at this point I realised that the video is getting on and I'm probably not going to be able to show you some footage of the game being played, but there is one change that we are going to make. We're going to remove all of this wall right here, as well as change the gold spawn, and the reason for that is because you can actually stand on these steps and fire across over there. Now the reason I put it like this is because my thinking was if you could fire straight at them in the middle, it'd be a little bit overpowered compared to shooting them as they come up here, and as you can imagine players are sprinting up these steps and it doesn't really work like that, and I think having the middle open like it is going to be fine. We just need to balance it well by giving more gold, so you've got a higher chance of doing that. So now when the players run round, they can also drop down as well as shoot, which I think makes a lot more sense. If you want to get straight into the middle and go for the gold, then you don't have to walk away. You don't have to walk around to the other side. There may be a couple of other changes I want to make here as well, so I'm going to give myself some time to look at this and think about it a little more. So my final changes to this map for now have been made. This room down here felt a little bit useless, so I decided to change the top to half slab so you can see up to the gold area in the middle, and also made these windows on the sides a lot bigger, and that's been changed in both sides. So as well as the bit up the top here, we're also going to be modifying the amount of gold you can get in the middle, and they are all the changes that I'm going to be making right now. But I need to upload this video, and I need you guys to help me playtest this as well. Of course, I'm going to be playing it and getting a feel for this map a little bit more, and we'll probably make some more changes over time. But if you want to come onto the server and help playtest, then the IP address is on the screen. If you go to the Gold Rush lobby, it'll be on the right hand side. And bear in mind, I'm saying playtesting, this thing is finished, but I might make some changes to the layouts. But what I want from you guys is some feedback on this map. After you've played it, come back to this video and leave a comment and let me know what you think about the map. It'd be interesting to hear what you'll think about it. But that is it for now, I guess. This one will be evolving a little bit over time. I'm sure there's going to be some more changes. But that is it for this video. If you have enjoyed it, if you like this style of video with me doing map development, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know, because I will be happy to do more of these, that's for sure. But as I said, the IP address is on the screen, so you've got everything that you need. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.